Welcome to the Game Changer 00100 show. I'm your host, Game Changer. And as you can see from the title, Honey Boo Boo. Now, those of you who don't remember her, she was a little girl years ago. Well, of course she was. She's only 16 now. But she was a very troublesome little girl. First of all, she was fat. She was abnormally fat for a white girl of her age, and I think that was part of the whole hook of the show. I never really watched it, but I did see like people do impersonations, interpretations of the show, and they just downright made fun of it. And it was called "Here Comes Honey Boo Boo," and I guess it was more like a Roseanne type. We're going to make fun of the trailer class of white people. That's what it seemed like they were doing at the time. Apparently, it was very funny. All I know is what South Park tells me of it, and it was pretty bad. People had a low opinion of Honey Boo Boo. So she grew up, or partly grew up. She's 16 now, and she is dating a 20-year-old. So I looked it up just to be certain, and he is within his legal rights to be with her in the state that they're in. Apparently, they're in Georgia, and the age of consent in Georgia is 16. In addition to that, the family, what was it? Like Aunt May, or I forget the name of the mother, but I'm gonna read some of the story to you. Aunt June or whomever, her mother is okay with the relationship, and I believe, don't misquote me, but if a person is below the age of consent, and that's not the case here, but if they are, the parents can consent on their behalf, i.e. R. Kelly and Aaliyah type situation. Don't quote me on this. I am not a legal professional in the state of Georgia, or any state for that matter. So don't, just take it with a grain of salt. Now, before we get started completely, let's see. I'm 5 minutes and 44 seconds in, and let me just check on it. All right. So that came through. Now let me just point out that the red dot under Game Changer 00100 is not there, but it is there for Mr. Fantastic. So that's just an alert to YouTube so they can help with this shadow ban problem that I'm having. All right, so let's get into it. It's no secret that Black men have no taste, no standards, that we generally take the leftover women of every other race of people out there, every other ethnic group of people out there. And we also have turned, as a result of this, our own women into a leftover ethnoclass of women. What do I mean by that? Meaning that our best, or excuse me, not really our best, but our average women are behaving as if they are the least appealing women of other ethnicities. They see this and they say, okay, all I need to get a man in the state of Georgia and many other places in this country, including California, is to be is first of all, is to have a vagina. That's all I really need to get a mate, is to have a vagina. And because it's so much scarcity, and Black men determine their manhood, they define their manhood on their ability to put their penis inside of a vagina, they know that they will eventually cave in. This is something that's well known across the board. Women see you coming, or they don't see you coming. That's why they're able to do that. So we are the, what does Obsidian say? Shout out to him. Hope he feels better. What does he say? The garbage collector, or the Mikeys of the dating, mating, and relating world. Hit the like button, please. Please hit that like button. And it's a truth. So here we have a man, once again, a black man, who is with a woman who is, dare I say it, where he is more handsome than she is pretty. That's commonplace. That's just something we do. That's something that we have and will continue to do always. Unfortunate, but true. We have found ourselves in that position. But you got to ask yourself, and this is the theme of the show today, why is it? Because, okay, here's the thing. The goal of the sisterhood is to do just that, is to get black men to not only lower their standards, but remove their standards altogether. Everything the sisterhood do, if you look at the scrolls, the common theme of it is the ultimate goal is to eliminate black men's standards. That's why they shame you, blame you, same you, and insane you. That's why they call you beta male conquered, because they want you to, if you have any standards whatsoever, they want to eliminate that completely. They want to challenge your right to have any standards. They use shame to do this. They blame you for whatever their situation is. If they feel unprotected, we are to blame for a feeling that they have, whether they're protected or not. And you are to say, okay, I have failed in this regard. Therefore, as a failure, I will take this inferior deal. They shame you, saying, your mother this, your daughter this, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We are all the same. And in this sameness, we should be together, no matter if you find the woman on your level appealing or not. And then they insane you. And that's, when the neck rolling and finger snapping and, finger waving and stuff like that comes into play. And that is when all else have failed and you try to reason or express your rationale with them and they actually get it, but they don't want to admit that they've heard it. They just hit you in insanity. This is the least effective of the three. However, it's what they do when they have no choice. Kind of like if you can't swim, whatever you're doing with your arms, while you're not swimming, you're drowning. That is it. But that's just a way to end the conversation that they have lost. Anyway, all of this is designed to get black men to eliminate their standards, get the black male 10 to get with the black female 4s, and the black male 9s to get with the black female 3s, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then next year, the black male 10s will get with the 3s. That is the goal of it. To get average women with exceptional men and below average women to get with average men, and the below average men get with no one. But really, the above average women, I don't know, I guess they get with white men. That's the goal. The problem with this for many Black American men, and when I say Black American, I'm talking about here in the US, is that it was successful. It was highly successful. After decades of attempting to get Black men to lower their standards by lowering the quality of women available to them and forcing them to capitulate due to, lack of options, Black men have waved the black flag. Some of them waved the rainbow flag, but that's a whole separate video. They have waved the black flag and they have said, okay, we give up. We'll take anything. Pussy is pussy. Just give me some. And I will brag about it and I will champion it and say, at least I got some over those who tend to practice standards. They have the victory over a large swath of the Black male population. But something interesting has happened in the result. Something interesting has happened as a result of this, excuse me. And that is other groups of women have seen that there is a group of men with no standards. Now, I want you to imagine if there was an island nation somewhere in the world. Let's just call it Atlantis, right? Where the women had absolutely no standard. How quick will men be to react to this group of people? Say you have a guy that looks like Lil Wayne, but broker, and he was to walk away from this island married to faithfully and till death do you part, married to a 9.2. Men will see that deal and say, you know something? I got to visit that island nation. But what if that island nation was just here? It was just like right off the coast of California or something like that. Then all of the men who have trouble getting 9+s in real life, including myself, I think every man has that problem because they're extremely rare. But all of the men who have that particular problem would go to this island of exceptional women looking for unexceptional men. Hit the like button, please. Please hit that like button. And that's where we have found, that's where Black men, that's what the Black community is. It's that island. It's an artificially manufactured island of men with no standards. So now we're getting herds and herds of hippos, of hungry, hungry hippos that are coming to this artificially fabricated place in order to get discount D, discount BBC. And they got it. Now, this is leaving the women who created this scenario in a very compromised position. Honey Boo Boo's boyfriend, here, let me just share a picture. Honey Boo Boo's new boyfriend. What is this? All right. Give me a second, y'all. Honey Boo Boo's new boyfriend is 20 years old. Relative to myself, that's very young. And relative to life in general, that's very young. What do I mean by that? What I mean is that most cultures, and when I say most, I'm really referring to like Asian cultures, are completely comfortable with themselves and their sons, etc., 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 being a virgin at that time in their lives. I met a lot of Indians and, found out that it's a family of cultures, not just a singular culture. However, what I found is that most of those cultures are completely comfortable with a man remaining a virgin until he's 25, where he, then goes into an arranged marriage, a marriage that's arranged by his parents. I mean, he gets to choose. He actually interviews the prospective women and pick one to be his wife. But until then, he's a virgin. But for the Black American man, because once again, our manhood, our masculinity, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, is wrapped around our penis, we have to say, I just got to get it off. I just got to get it off in somebody. I don't care who. I don't care if it's Honey Boo Boo. And that's what they do. So he's only 20 years old. He couldn't wait any longer. He couldn't wait till he graduated. He didn't wait for a better option. Now maybe Honey Boo Boo is his starter bitch. Who knows? I mean, I don't really know where you finish if you start off like that. But nevertheless, that's where he found himself. Let me find that picture. Here we go. right, give me a second. Where we at with the likes? All right, go ahead and hit that button for me. Okay, so they say that she lost weight. I don't know what the before picture looked like. So it is quite possible that she did lose weight, but she's still big. And what I mean by big is she's bigger than him. This is her picture. She's bigger than I would like to see a woman. And yeah, that I would even consider a woman. Now she at least on the picture on the left, she has eyelashes. Now, not saying that he is a off shirt nagaga, but I will say that he is more fit than she is, which is rare in same race relationships for non-Black American people, meaning that the woman is always more in shape than the man. And you can see this once again. I've used this example before in the cartoons that they make. You pair Fred Flintstone with Wilma Flintstone. You pair Peter Griffin with Lois Griffin. You pair Homer Simpson with Marge Simpson. The woman is always supposed to be the beautiful one of the two. Now, he is by no means a jawline nigga by my definition, by heterosexual definition, nor is nor is he like an in shape off shirt nagaga. However, once again, more handsome than she is. Pretty. He's older, which means that it seems like there should be a large number of women. I don't know. I just assume because when I was in high school, a lot of the high school girls had college boyfriends, even though that thing is illegal here. But that law was loosely enforced in California. So when I was in high school, a lot of the girls my age were with dudes that were in college. It made them feel more mature by doing so, I guess. And he had things that we just didn't have. He had freedoms, and he had cars and his own apartment and stuff like that while we were getting drove into the basketball game by our parents. So I understand the advantage. He doesn't even seem to have that particular pick. This is the best he could do between two races. So, once again, they created a society where average women get with exceptional men, below average women get with average men, and but what do below average Black men do? They get this. Here comes Honey Boo Boo. All right. Now, before I get into the story, Sweet Melody Speaks says, hold on, let me stop share this right quick. Sweet Melody Speaks says, what do y'all think of her being 16 and him being 20? Honestly, when I was that age, I only dated older men. Don't really care. I mean, it's within the law. Like, that's the law of the land of Georgia. It's not really legal here. So it's legal in the next state over, which is Nevada. I don't really know every state and everything. I actually thought that the whole world was, or the entire country was 18 and over. Because, when you're young, you just assume that the world has similar laws than you. But yeah. And besides, I wasn't really, it's not that I wasn't into it, into them physically. I just knew that I couldn't get down with, like, say when I was 20, I knew that I couldn't really get down with like a girl who was still in high school like that, because her lifestyle, she wasn't really allotted the freedoms that would allow me to get down with her. Not to say I was incapable of being physically attracted to one that would say 17, because let's face it, how would I know the difference if she's 17 or 18? Like, if I approach and, she just say I'm 17, I'm like, oh, okay. you know. Or if she's really, really sexy, I'll say, call me in however many months. But that was rare, if ever. All right. Where was I going with that? Oh, okay. But yeah, so to answer Melody's question, I don't care. Let's see. And only the parents can petition the courts unless they get married outside of the state. So they can't get married? What do you mean? Well, because Man of Tomorrow, they're in Georgia, the age of consent. I looked it up before the show once again. The age of consent is 16, and she's 16. I don't know how long they were together. I don't know if like he waited till she turned 16. That's a bit, you know. I wouldn't suggest anybody do that, especially with a person with a big name and I guess a big everything in this case. But yeah, hey, the man likes what he likes. All right, so hit the like button, please, please. And let me find the story and get started. Give me a second. All right. My bad, I'm a little disorganized. I was doing some work before I started. And let's see, here we go. All right. Okay, there we go. Okay, that's her name. It wasn't Auntie June, it was Mama June. All right, so. All right, Boo Boo's Boo or Bo. Like we say Bay, they say Bo, especially in the South. I used to work with a white woman from the South. And yeah, that's what she called her boyfriend. He wound up beating her, but whole different story. Mama June's daughter, Honey Boo Boo, 16, is secretly dating college student Dralin Carswell. 20 and her sisters approve. Okay. Let's see some more. Mama June's youngest daughter, Alana Honey Boo Boo Thompson, has been secretly dating an older college student, and despite the age difference, her sisters approve of the romance. Now, I want to point out that he is a college student. So he may or may not be. Now, for those of you who talk about the whole Pookie Ray Ray educated lame thing, Pookie's educate too. So he may or may not be a Pookie. I don't really think he is. In fact, I'm gonna just throw it out there. I don't think it's really many Pookies left. Pookies are generally guys who are trying to get pussy based on the reputation of the 80s, early 90s drug or crack epidemic. And if you're 20, you're so far removed from that, then you really don't see any cachet in doing that. The Sun can exclusively reveal that the reality star 16 has been in relationships with has been in a relationship, with college student Dralin Carswell, 20, for about 6 months. So, however far into 16 she is, that's when they first started. All right, show some pictures. Dang, she looked like, oh God. All right, let me share this picture of him so y'all can get like a better visual of what they're dealing with. All right, so this is the guy. Whatever opinion you have about him, that is, hey, that's what it is. All right. So the source confirmed Dralin attended a Nashville technical school before the pandemic hit, but now resides in Georgia near Alana and her sister, Lauren Pumpkin, Shannon, 21, who is her legal guardian. Oh, okay. So she's being taken care of by her sister. So for those of you who know the show, what's up with the mother? She's unfit or something like that. Why is the 21-year-old the legal guardian? So apparently, if there is something that requires the consent, it goes through the sister and she already has it. So, there's that. I guess he already has it. Anyway, the insider exclusively told the Sun Dralin and Alana were attacked at the hip and hang out together all the time. Okay. Alana's sisters, including Pumpkin, Jessica, 24, and Anna, 27, also approve of Dralin. The insider continued to say he was quiet at first, but he's like one of the family now. He's just as fun and crazy as the rest of them. What does it mean? What does it mean for a young Black man to be told that you're just like the rest of us by a bunch of overweight white women? What does that, stop and think about that for a second. What does that mean? A group of, because their family consists solely of sisters, solely of like, Honey Boo Boo, her sister Pumpkin, Jessica, Anna. It's a bunch of overweight women, and you come into the fray and they say, oh, you're just like one of us. Like, what? Thanks. I'm just like an overweight white woman. I greatly appreciate that as a somewhat healthier Black man. I appreciate being one of you. Yeah. I think that I would have like a Negro wake up call at that moment. But, once you placed your penis in Honey Boo, well, anyway. Oh, Dralin, a car fanatic, shared his love with the reality teen star. He has a Camaro. That's like his baby, and he lets her drive it sometimes. Oh, gosh. Okay. Right now, she is saving up for her own car. She wants a Jeep. Of course, she wants a Jeep. She needs the suspension. Oh, okay. All right. I'm going to lay off the jokes, but the people who are out there who probably read the title and was like, okay, he's doing it for the money. There is no money here because, like most 16-year-olds, she's saving up for a car. So she is in the same economic bracket of, it seems like every other 16-year-old, especially her situation is a little different because she's being raised by her very young sister and not the mother, who probably ideally would have been more economically established. So he's not doing it for the money. He's actually closer to the sister's age than hers, now that I think about it. Okay. The pair quietly made their relationship Facebook official in March. Their relationship Facebook official in March. Okay. When Dralin updated his status to in a relationship. Okay. We're not talking about a player out here. We're not talking about, because I know a lot of dudes who brag on being with big women. They say it, they're doing it in the name of game. They're doing it in the name of, okay, I get mine. I get that pussy. I'm a player. I'm a Mac. Game. I'm a pimp player Mac. Look at me. But really, they're in a relationship with a woman who's hard on the eyes. Let's say that. In the comments on that photo, Dralin, let's see. In the comments on that photo, Dralin called her his bae and dropped in a heart emoji. Though the rest of Alana's family is friends with him on social media, her mother, Mama June Shannon, is not connected to Dralin on Facebook. Okay, something seems to be up with the mother. The newly minted 16-year-old. Oh God, the newly minted 16-year-old touched on her new relationship in her interview with Teen Vogue. So if she's newly minted 16-year-old, which means that, and they started the relationship 6 months ago, it does mean that at some point they may have likely have been breaking the law. Now, I'm no Georgia State trooper, so it's not my, it's not my place. And once again, he does have the sister's consent. So there you go. All right. In her interview, she said her boyfriend is probably her only real friend. Oh, God. Since she has found it hard connecting with peers due to her fame. According to publication, her boyfriend joined her on the set at the end of their shoot. Oh, this is still a show? The legal age of consensual sexual relationship in Georgia, where Alana and Dralin reside, is 16 years old. But there is no indication that their romance violated any laws. Okay, so yeah, basically saying what I'm saying. All right, let me see. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Proud of herself, while Alana reveals that she is currently working on her relationship with her mother. Okay, so yeah, apparently there has been some sumo wrestling between her and the mother. All right, now this begged the question. Oh, all right, got a super chat. I appreciate you. Let's see. Big Mag the Fisher says, keep working, bro. Okay, appreciate you, bro. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Cash apps and super chats are greatly appreciated. All right, so this begs the question. You ever notice how there seemed to be a contingent, a sisterhood of Black women who say, where are the good Black men at? Where they at? How come they're with white women? Etc., etc., etc. All I want is an educated man. I just want this. Now, how many Black women has shot this Camaro guy down before he found himself with Honey Boo Boo? Is it reasonable to assume that in his life, on his Facebook, on his, Instagram, on all of his, Twitty pages and stuff like that, like, or just in general passing, is it reasonable to assume that he has gotten at a lot of Black women, many of whom look better than Honey Boo Boo, and some of whom who actually look equal to or even less attractive than Honey Boo Boo? Hold on. Got a cash app. All right. Deacon Dave, greatly appreciate you. Thanks a lot. All right. In order for him to be in this situation, he would have had to have walked up to a overweight Black woman, called her thick. He said to her, "You are thick. I like them thick. I like my girls BBW." Tried to get into her abnormally oversized panties. Oh, God. God. Had a visual of an overweight Black woman's panties. Oh, God. And he tried to get into it, not knowing if she's pregnant at the time. And that's another thing. To all you brothers who say, I like them thick and I like them big, how do y'all even know she's pregnant? How do you even know she's pregnant when you approach her? She could be 8, 9 months pregnant and you don't even know. She could have like a baby just like right in the lower right-hand corner of her stomach, just a brewing. And you don't even know. You don't even know if she's pregnant or not, because like the pregnancy, the baby bump just automatically fills in to the everything else fat. So anyway, he approached that chick and got shot down. Now he's 20. He's 20 years old, right? He's going to get with Honey Boo Boo or a woman like, or a young lady like Honey Boo Boo. Even if he's not going to get with her, that is where he's going to get. Why? Because here's the thing. There's two types of fat women in the world. I mean, really, there's several different types, but I don't take the time out to explore the different types of personality and nuances and cultures of fat women because let's face it, they're fat. It really don't matter at the end of the day. You want to know the intricacies of fit women because they have something you want. They don't have nothing I want. Anyway, I have put them into two categories. Fat women with high demands and fat women with regular demands. See, they can't necessarily have low demands because there is nothing lower than them. It is really impossible for an overweight woman to date down. It is. So you have a group of overweight women who demands a pie in the sky, a pie in their plate, and a pie in their belly, and 3 pies in the refrigerator. But let's focus on the pie in the sky. These are the ones that call Kevin Samuels and say, I am a dress size, insert double digit number here. Somebody said, what if she's skinny with an STD? That is why I put skinny women in a category. I put them in categories. Why? Because if she's skinny, I want to know if she has an STD or not, because I likely am more likely to want to have sex with her. However, if she's overweight, I don't care if she has one or not. Why do I care? Why do I care about her TDs if there is no S between us? There isn't going to be an S between us, so I don't care about her TDs. But I will say this. Call me nasty if you want to. If a woman is hot enough and she says she has an STD, I will say which one. And I see nothing wrong with somebody who does. There are some STDs that are significantly worse than others. I would say which one. Just penicillin. Depending on which one. That's why you ask which one. That's why you put them in different categories. Yes. So an attractive woman with an STD, you ask which one. Like, if an overweight woman has it, I don't care. Think I care? I don't care about your asthma or whatever it is. Anyway, lost my train of thought. Where was I? Yeah. So they're in two categories. Ones with high self-esteem, or they feel that they deserve this pie in the sky guy. And then there's the ones with regular esteem. Now, I want to point out that in addition to having a large concentration of large women in our community, which is too big to ignore. In addition to that, there also is the problem that we as Black men face, that we have a large number of large women with large demands. You see, it's easy to date down in other communities. It's easy. Black men can't even date down good. We can't even date down. We can't, because we have lowered our standards so low that there is no bottom. So he is forced to do the male equivalent of swirling just because. So when you hear the women, and I'm going to go pretty soon, but when you hear the women complain about blah, 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 blah. Why are you with this girl? You are color struck. First of all, listen and listen me good. Any woman who calls you color struck, tell them to suck your penis. Tell them to suck your penis. And I'm not talking about like as a brush off or just a, I'm going to dismiss what you say. Or no, make it a legitimate request. Because how dare they? How dare they tell you where you cannot put your penis while they're just sitting there with an empty mouth. The mouth has to be empty because they're talking to you. How dare you tell a man not to place his penis inside another race of woman when you haven't made yours available? Unless you make yourself available to this man, present him with a equal or greater than offer, you really have nothing to say. But the women who complain, the wig women who complain about men like this, what they are leaving out is that guys like this, here, let me bring up his picture again. Guys like this, hold on. Guys like this get rejected. Guys like this get rejected for a number of reasons. By overweight Black women, by the honey boo boo chocolate equivalent all the time. They will tell this guy, he has to get his money up. He got to get his muscles up. He's got to get his education up. He's got to get his up. I demand more and I offer you a vagina. I am the table. So he's like, okay, well, since I seem to have been rejected by the lowest of the low, and by lowest of the low, I mean fat. But fat women, overweight women, are the lowest of the low of women. So once you find yourself chronically rejected by this group of women, it's really like all things are off. All things are off. You either, shape yourself into something that won't happen again, and that takes a lot of work, considering the, outrageous demands in the community that he comes from. So, or you just find another community that accepts you. But, So either way, you are at a low point. Because you're at a low point if you get accepted by that and you take being accepted by it. But once you're chronically rejected by it, yeah, it's the lowest of the low. And they're doing that so they can get you at a discount later on in life. They're hoping that through a series of a couple of decades of rejection, and he turns 40, that, he would have spent the last 20 years being rejected by a bunch of overweight women, Black women. And that once he has, they say he's going to a technical school. So once he, becomes set in his career, he has a few more Camaros or, fancy automobiles that he likes because he's a car guy. They're hoping that he waits and jacks off for the next 20 years, becoming increasingly more desperate each masturbatorial act. And they're hoping that by the time he turns 40, he will be so desperate that he will take a ridiculously inferior deal just for in house pussy. And you see these relationships all the time, especially in the South. I don't live in the South, but I do know that that this process of thirst control exists. I know this because a lot of our women here in California, I shouldn't say a lot, but our women here in California often move to the South to find guys in this situation, and they get wifed up quickly. Now, these are women that have trouble finding a man that values her here in California. But because they put brothers through this process of sexual omission and starvation for decades, it's not difficult to find one there, or it's far less difficult to find one there, I should say. Now, what the honey boo boos of the world, of the trailer or whatever they come from, what the women like this represent is a break in the cycle. See, they have plans for this man. And that plan is to starve him out for a significant amount of time. And then when the time comes, offer him the shittiest deal ever. Okay. For example, let me give an example. Say you have a car dealership, right? Say there's a car dealership somewhere in Georgia. And you walk to that dealership and you see a car that you like, and the price is, I don't know, let's say $15,000, right? But you only want to pay $5,000. So what do? You tell everybody that you can to not shop at that dealership. You could call it a sisterhood, a brotherhood, a sorority, a fraternity, whatever. You tell the collection of people not to shop at that dealership. And then you wait for the going out of business sale. And then you buy it at the price that you want. That is what they're doing to brothers everywhere, but more predominantly in the South. I can tell by their behavior that that's what's going on. That's why brothers are selling themselves at any cost. Like, oh yeah, I go to the gym 8 times a week. Like, oh really? I went to the gym 8 times in my life, and that includes gym class. Like, yes, I make 6 figures. Well, I ate 6 figures. They are taking inferior deals because they are being starved out. The only way out of this, and this is why it's predominantly in the South versus other places, the only way out of this is to sell your goods to a different market, period. Unless a dealership has the ability to say, if you won't pay $15,000 and you convinced everybody in your particular church group or market demographic or whatnot to not buy at $15,000, I will put my stuff online, and I'm pretty sure somebody will buy this reasonably priced car at this price, or maybe at a small discount, maybe like at $13,000 or $12,000. But I still won't have to sell it to you for $5,000. Nor will I go out of business. They trying to get his penis on a going out of business sale. And fellas in the South, and I know that y'all were segregated, so you couldn't really open up your penis to different markets, so to speak, for quite some time. But fellas in the South, know that this is what they're doing to your penis. And hit the like button. Know that this is what they're doing to your penis. Don't allow it. Do not allow it. Open it up to different market groups. And I'm not talking about red bones. I'm talking about white bones. I'm talking about, yellow bones. I'm not talking about whatever y'all call yellow bones. I don't know what the bones are. But I'm talking about Asians. I'm talking about Mexicans. Open it up to different markets. If you cannot sell your penis at the price that you feel is worthy, at a reasonable price, then open up to a different market. Don't let them play Monopoly. Your boss is not a Monopoly piece. You don't have to play that crap. That's what he did. Now, to me and everybody else with standards in this world, he still sold it at a discount. But I guarantee, because of the low quality and high demand, the high standards in the given market, had he sold that same penis in this given market, he would have fared no better. You see, guys like this, they're not turning down, women who look like Chantel Simone for this Honey Boo Boo chick, literally. They're not turning down women that look like Danica Marie, Sweet Melody Speaks. They're not turning down these women, Six the Goddess. They're not turning down these women for Honey Boo Boo. They're being turned down by these women for Honey Boo Boo for arbitrary reasons, but probably in his case is because he's still a student and he hasn't found his way in the world. Who knows? But the point is that, guys, we are being maneuvered. And the way out of such a maneuver is to create one of your own. Not to give in to ridiculous demands. Another example, then I'm going to go. Unions. Unions started around the 60s. And from what I read, it was a serious thing. Like they were not playing. And companies that exist today did some unscrupulous stuff. There was a story about how what's his name? Henry J. Ford, he used to hire like Navy strongmen as supervisors and managers. So he used to hire some big beat-ass SEAL people to keep the unions in lines because they would be out on the street squabbing. Those picket signs were sticks and they were used as weapons. They weren't playing back in the day. But then the National Guard stepped in. I think it was under Roosevelt, and the union started gaining a lot of traction. And you didn't have all these beat ass bruised knuckles supervisors and stuff that was keeping the workers in line. You didn't have all that. The union started gaining power, and which they should have. From what I understand of the work conditions back then, they definitely should have. And people was losing fingers in like a can of Campbell's soup. So they definitely should have, unionized. But then they took it too far and start making ridiculous demand, like those Twinkie people. I picture them as fat, but like the Twinkie people, the hostess people. I mean, you start taking it too far, demanding too much crap, and then companies, you're squeezing the company. You're demanding more for less. More pay, more value for less work put in. And these demands just, spiraled out of control. every year you're taking an inch, another inch, until you reach a breaking point. So what did companies do? They opened up their factories in China and all across the world, but primarily China. That's where everything is made, but really throughout most of Asia. Now, the workers at the time would say, you're not supporting your community and blah, 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 blah. To that, the oligarchs of America said, I don't give a crap. I care as much about the community than you do. Meaning, if you cared about the community, you would take a reasonable, honest day's work at an honest day's pay. How much do you care about the community when you're chronically, complaining, or you're chronically demanding more for less? So they ship the jobs to China. Our manufacturing base is all but gone, and here we are. In fact, now that I think about it, the only jobs that are done here are the ones that has to be done here. Like if you're working on a railroad or you're a longshoreman or something, you have to actually be on the shore. If you're working in construction, you have to actually construct it here. But for the most part, it's been shipped away. I mean, some may say that, the corporations were bottom line thinking, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But really, some might also say that they were just being overly pressured by the unions. So, fellas, if you find your penis, and I'm going to close on this, if you find your penis being overly pressured, where the demands of your penis, where the value does not match the demands, not even close, then take it elsewhere. If it's good enough for the Fortune 500, why couldn't it be good enough for your penis? Just make sure you have reasonable demands. Now, with that, I want to start by thanking the members, the Cash Apps and Super Chats, managers and moderators, those who are listening silently, and those who participate in the chat. Make sure you hit that. Okay. Make sure you hit that like button on your way out. And remember, this is Game Changer 00100. Game over. Peace.